What up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. It's been one of those days. I'm supposed to get the power hooked up at the house today, which has been kind of crazy because when I got the service inspection done, it got put into the system, and it was like 3 days later, the power company said, "Yeah, we're going to have it hooked up then." And I was like, really? Because usually it takes some time for the new service to get there, but it didn't happen. And they told me, oh, that's going to be December 1st. Well, today is December 1st, and I've been over there most of the day. And I called this morning and said, yeah, it's scheduled for today. And nothing. So I got back on the phone, and I've been on the phone and handled from person to person to person. And supposedly now they're still saying there's going to be power. But I think they're confused because they're like, the meter has to be installed. I was like, that's fine. You can put the meter on. Because literally one person told me that all they needed was the meter. And I was like, is your electricity now wireless? Because there's nothing hooked up at the house. There's nothing hooked up at the house. So unless you are now doing wireless connections, Anyway, I'm going to have to go back over here, pull the lights out of the basement, so at least I have some lights in there to work with while I'm there. Anyway, interesting thing, okay? As we get ready to play the Colts this weekend, Jeff Saturday basically said that he thinks the Cowboys and the Eagles are like the two best teams, and he loves the challenge and yada, yada, yada. Of course, he'll be giving us his best game. They almost beat the Eagles. As bad as they looked this past week as far as clock management goes, they almost won against the Eagles. So, anybody can beat you. But here's the thing that's kind of crazy to me. I don't know if the talking shows, maybe they all have the same pattern, that you have to have a village idiot. You have to have some person in there who just says the stupidest, off the wall, player hating type shit. We've seen Dan Orlovsky having to do that. Usually it happens when a former Cowboy player goes on those shows. Usually they have to kind of turn their back on the Cowboys. And I think that's partially is to try and make themselves appear that they are not playing favoritism. It's kind of like having your father as your head coach. He's going to be harder on you than he is everybody else to show he's not playing favoritism. And you're like, Dad, what's up, Dad? Why are you being so mean? Because I have to be, son, regardless of that. Okay. Shady Maccoy has to be the worst in history. His whole thing is, I just hate Dak Prescott. Is he jealous of Dak Prescott? Did Dak take his girl or something? Because here's the thing. Here, I want to play a couple of clips here. I'm sitting here, or actually this is my workbench. My workbench has become my desk here because we're here working. Listen to this. This is after, this is after the Minnesota game.
Like that point. Did they make a statement, Big Dog? I would say they made a statement. I thought that they showed that they could be a physical team, right? I thought that they couldn't be that. The games that I did watch,
I thought they couldn't be that.
They didn't look physical. They got bullied. And they showed that they can be bullies, right? If you really watch that game, shout out to Kellen Moore. He did a great job as an OC. He had the most effective, the most plain game plan that you can have for the Cowboys, right? They ran the ball all day from start to the end. I mean, if you look at the running backs, right, it was 40 carries, right? Now, Dak Prescott, I want to get on Dak Prescott, right? Okay. Now, I gave the Cowboys they love. You did. They did a good job, and they play everybody on notice. But let's talk about Dak here, right? So, Dak, which part? You said he played a great game.
He played better than Kirk.
He did play better than Kirk. Okay. But you said he played a great game, right?
Making sure.
And you also said that you like the last segment we talked about Herbert, how he had 80 yards in the air. Well, Dak averaged 5 yards in the air last game, right?
Ah, damn. Sorry. Got an ad. Forgive me. Hang on. Just hold on. My other account doesn't have ads. Okay, here we go.
Slants, flats. He threw 3 passes over 20 yards, and then one of them was to a wheel route to the running back, Tony Pollard. So I'll say this: beautiful ball. It's going to be hard to beat teams. Now I'm being serious. It's going to be hard to beat teams, good teams, right? Once you stop the run, then what? We got to put the ball in the quarterback's hands. Same thing we talk about the Packers.
So the Cowboys made a statement, but Dak didn't, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I thought they ran the ball well. Yeah. I mean, Pollard was lights out. Zeke played really well. But my thing is, okay, you can't just beat everybody by running the ball and throwing slants, wheel routes, flat routes, and dump balls.
Here's my thing, though, 2-5. I think the Cowboys did make a statement.
Okay. All right, let's stop there. So that was after the Vikings game. A game in which Dak had 88.0 completion percentage, okay? He was 23 of 25. And I believe there was a touchdown pass that was dropped. 276 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions, a 139.3 rating. Okay. Now, mind you, the Vikings only have 2 losses and are set to be the number 2 seed in the NFL. And you can't look and say, well, he just had great receivers. Okay. So his contention was, it was dink and dunk, dink and dunk. Dink and dunk. Here's an interesting thing. So this past week against the Giants, another team that's right now the 6th seed in the playoff chase, that only had 3 losses going into that game. And the Cowboys had 12.1 yards, air yards, per pass. So we went from the dinking and dunking and blowing a team out, and that wasn't good enough. After you said Kellen Moore called a great game. Well, Kellen Moore called, Dak ran the plays that Kellen Moore said to run. Okay, let's listen to this.
Go ahead. Well, first of all, he's right about the explosive.
Whoa!
And I'm gonna say yes. I think having Odell Beckham makes him a Super Bowl contender. Just to get there, I can see that. Good defense, right? Solid defense. Got the pass rusher. They run the ball very well. But he's talking about explosive plays. Mm-hmm. He's right. Look at the Dallas Cowboys offense. They're ran by the running game, right? 2 running backs in the backfield. Zeke is still solid, powerful, and then you got Pollard, who's the explosive running back. And after that, you have a superstar that's a game manager quarterback. That's right, I said it.
That's right, I said it.
Honestly, you talk about explosions. They don't throw the ball over 20 yards. In the last 2 games, they're averaging only 5 yards in the air passing. You know what that means? That Dak is throwing check down routes and flats. And every once in a while,
again, he was the highest air yards this past week, 12.1. So get your story straight here. That's right, I said it. Okay, but it gets better.
CeeDee Lamb has to make a one-hand catch on the helmet. Right? To get him.
You know why CeeDee Lamb was doing a one-hand catch? Because they were holding and not calling. They were holding his other arm. But go on.
Long passing. Mm-hmm. I'm being serious, though. I'm joking, but I'm being serious. So I think Odell can stretch the field a little bit, give us a big play capability, because they don't have that. When you have a quarterback that's a game manager, you want to let your other players do all the work.
But Shady, on the road, which the Cowboys would have to go if they wanted to get to the Super Bowl, on the road, you got to pack your defense, you got to pack your running game.
Okay.
The Cowboys have a great defense and they have a great running game. Why in the world do you think it's imperative that all of a sudden you got to pack a superstar receiver as well?
Because they need one more piece. So let's just say this, right? I always love to talk about my Eagles, right? If you shut the Eagles running game down, Jalen Hurts can still throw the ball down the field.
Can he?
And make things happen. What happens when the Cowboys, they get...
So wait. Are we saying that Jalen Hurts can throw the ball better than Dak Prescott? Is that what we're saying now?
They run the ball. They play against, a team like the Niners. The Niners, right? They stop the run. Now you got to make this game manager, and Dak Prescott beat you. Who you going to beat him with? The CeeDee Lamb by itself? Michael Gallup is only averaging 30 yards a game? These are real issues that can happen.
Throwing game manager around a lot for a guy who's got the #1 offense in the league since he came back.
Yeah, you want to show me stats? I go by the eyeball test.
Oh, okay.
And you watch the eyeball test, they're throwing flats and check downs. Am I lying?
You're number one in the
Am I lying?
on
Sam, am I lying?
third down. Yes.
I'm getting loud.
Yes.
Because
yes.
you know what you watch.
No, you're incorrect about this.
Every day we go to these
right
production meetings and we watch the tape on Dak Prescott, and all he does, they run the ball, right? They do flats and slants, and then here and there they do the play action. He rolls out wide open tight end, he just dumps it over there. And it's not like he's out just dodging people up on the field. Don't do that. Don't lie to the people in the world. They need to know what's really going on.
Are you lying to the people, Dave?
Yeah, and I'm tired of it.
Never once told
I will never lie to the people.
So let me make sure I get this straight. So Jalen Hurts, who threw 153 yards on 57% completions against the Packers, okay? Jalen Hurts, who threw 190 yards against the Colts. Jalen Hurts, who threw 175 yards against the Commanders. Jalen Hurts only threw 243 against the Texans. Jalen Hurts only threw 285 against the Steelers. Jalen Hurts, who only threw 155 against the Dallas Cowboys, that he could throw the ball and light up down the field more than Dak Prescott can? Is that you're lying to the people now, Shady. You're lying to the people. Now, I'm not going to say that Jalen Hurts isn't one hell of a weapon, because Jalen Hurts is. Because the way that damn quarterback draw is killing teams. But let's pump the brakes here, because you lying to the people about Jalen Hurts can go ahead and, if they stop the run, they're just going to light it up down the field. I think that's what happened to you against the Commanders. Left hand up. They stopped your run. You didn't light it up down the field, did you? Shady, you just hate the damn Dallas Cowboys. Just admit it. Just admit it, son. That's all you got to do. All right, let me go back over to the red brick house and see what's up. Peace.